Aloha Aulani Ohana. We want to thank you for coming out to this presentation today on the current state of the Disney Aulani during these times. Today I'm joined by my marketing colleagues, Michaela, Amber, Kenji, and Michael. And we also wanted to give a special thank you to the Managing Director, Elliot Mills, for this opportunity today to present the marketing team's strategy to tackle operational and marketing activities during the COVID-19 pandemic.
First, we will examine the four key problems that the Aulani Resort is currently facing due to the pandemic. Secondly, we will examine the industry, customer, and competitive analysis for Aulani. Next, we will be going over our recommendations and campaign suggestions to address their issues. And finally, we will be going over our approximate timeline and financials for our recommendations. Aulani was mandated to close their doors in March 2020 in response to COVID 19. As a result, the Aulani Resort lost over 7 months of revenue. As Aulani prepares to reopen to the public, they must address four key issues. The first issue is that the pandemic has caused a decline in tourism. Hawaii's government mandated a 14-day quarantine for travelers, which resulted in 97.7% fewer visitor arrivals in July 2020 in comparison to July 2019. These record low tourism levels could translate into fewer guests and a decrease in revenue when Aulani reopens. Aulani must also implement the health procedures and communicate the safety of the resort to current and prospective guests to ease the concerns that customers may be having. The second issue is that the resort must reduce their capacity and modify or eliminate amenities to comply with CDC health guidelines and local mandates. Aulani offered a wide variety of activities such as surf lessons, spa amenities, golfing, island style makeovers, and Disney character experiences pre COVID 19. The third issue is that the uncertainty of the pandemic causes unpredictable health mandates from Hawaii's leaders. The city and state COVID 19 policies are constantly changing, confusing both visitors and locals. This unpredictability could make Aulani less appealing as a vacation destination for both domestic and international travelers. This could be very difficult for Aulani to address because the unpredictability of the COVID 19 policies are out of Aulani's control. Aulani must find a way to ease customers' worries. The decrease in tourism levels have encouraged businesses to grow their local clientele. This brings up the final issue addressing the financial strain on locals. The pandemic has plunged many of Hawaii's families into financial hardships. Aulani must figure out a way to market the value of a luxury staycation home to locals who have the disposable income of a relaxing escape.
Now I'll be going over the analysis, which will consist of the industry landscape, shifting consumer preferences, and major competitors in the market. The current hotel and motel landscape is vastly different in comparison to last year due to the significant impact of the pandemic. During 2019, the hotel and motel sector generated nearly $660 billion annually towards U.S. gross domestic product, with a 66% annual occupancy rate. In addition, the hotel and motel industry also employed 1 in 25 Americans, which is equivalent to about 8.3 million workers in total. On the other hand, during 2020, U.S. GDP is expected to decline. Specifically, the U.S. will potentially lose $500 billion towards U.S. GDP due to the reduction in hotel occupancy rate. Currently, 65% of hotels are below 60% occupancy. Furthermore, 4 out of 10 hotel employees are also still unemployed, which is below the threshold at which most hotels can break even and pay off debt. As previously mentioned by Michaela, in response to the pandemic, the government intervened by issuing the 13th proclamation related to the COVID-19 emergency on September 22, 2020, which stimulated a shift in consumer preference, particularly regarding travel. Currently, consumers are unwilling to travel due to the unpredictability of the pandemic and the inconvenience of government-mandated rules and regulations. Here are a few statistics regarding American travelers. Only 33% of Americans traveled since March, which is when COVID made its way into the United States. And only 38% of Americans are willing to travel at the end of the year. Aulani's first set of competitors are in close proximity, specifically within the Ko'olina region, such as Ko'olina Resort, Marriott's Ko'olina Beach Club, Four Seasons Resort at Ko'olina, and as well as villas, condos, and housing. Not only are there competitors in within the Koalina region, but there are also competitors within the Waikiki area as well, such as Hilton Hawaiian Village, Royal Hawaiians, Sheraton Waikiki, and many others.
In response to these issues, Mamba Marketing proposes a new strategy which consists of 3 pillars. Our team calls the strategy Imua strategy, as Imua means moving forward with strength. This includes nourishing customers' trust, pivoting marketing activities, and incentivizing global and local tourism. We believe these pillars will effectively pinpoint and address the issues to attract more visitors to the Aulani.
The COVID-19 pandemic has rapidly changed the consumer landscape and customer preferences in travel. Travelers around the world have been restricted with their fears and concerns of the COVID-19 virus. Communicating that Aulani follows CDC guidelines and social distancing measures to ensure the safety of guests will establish a trustworthy reputation in the market. To establish this presence in the market, Disney Aulani will create a partnership with Albot Laboratories in conducting on-site rapid COVID-19 tests. The tests will be complimentary with a hotel room reservation and will be mandatory to be taken with a visit. Aulani will also produce COVID-19 safety protocol videos and upload content in a resource portal on the Aulani website. The videos will incorporate local aspects and Disney characters and be produced in both English and Japanese. Additionally, Aulani will create video webinars that will be aimed at Japanese agents. These agents have already opened communications with Disney Aulani. To further strengthen customer trust, on the website, there will be a display of a prompt communicating website visitors about the current state of Hawaii, its restrictions, and travel instructions, and a message that details rooms, experiences, restaurants, amenities, and other offerings that may have been modified or unavailable. Website visitors cannot continue onto the site unless this prompt is acknowledged.
Now we're going to be further elaborating on the Abbott Laboratories rapid testing. Implementing a rapid COVID-19 testing station will ease the minds of guests as they know all other guests entering the facility will have a negative COVID-19 test result. Implementing this will also allow potential guests to get their test results fast within 15 minutes. The mobile test kit being utilized is FDA approved and currently has a 97.1% success rate. The test will also be highlighted through all marketing webinars and digital channels of communication to reassure potential customers of their safety. Additionally, the test has not been implemented within Oahu yet, thus giving Disney Aulani a competitive advantage against their local competitors and establishing them as innovators in the market.
Moving forward, Aulani should create COVID-19 safety protocol video in English and Japanese that is local themed featuring Disney characters. The video will emphasize cleaning, signage, physical barriers, ground marking, and showcasing the hand sanitizer station throughout Aulani resorts. This reassures potential customers Aulani has implemented necessary safety measures. In the video, they gather their infection control measures into a video to inform tourists. Infection control measures are going to be one of the new important criteria for customers to choose which hotel they want to stay in because of emerging safety concerns. We assume that the majority of our visitors are Japanese family with kids, so we suggest making the video contains Japanese subtitle for Japanese tourists. This improves tourists' secure feeling, Aulani's reliability, and it makes them visit Aulani without any worries. In addition to safety protocol videos, Aulani should implement webinars for Japanese travel agents once a month until conditions return to normal. In the webinar, they explain the latest COVID-19 situation in Hawaii with information such as the amount of average daily cases. They also have to present the infection control measures and any changes in service due to the COVID-19, such as limited capacity dining experience or no buffet style dining. It is important that travel agents know this latest information because travel agents are Aulani's main sales channel in the Japanese market. Japanese travel purchase system is different from the US. According to the Hawaii government tourist data warehouse, over 0.5% of Japanese tourists still purchase packaging tours via travel agent. In contrast, over 80% of US tourists do not use travel agent for Hawaii travel. Travel agents in Japan offer affordable packaging tours rather than purchase hotel and airline tickets separately. Also, tourists can receive a lot of benefits such as free bike trolley rides or free lounge if they book through travel agent. Because of those reasons, most Japanese tourists purchase hotel and airline tickets through travel agent, especially for Hawaii. Since most travel lodging services in Hawaii are sold as packaging tour by travel agent in Japan, travel agents to sell Aulani's lodging service as a packaging tour with the airline ticket. So in most cases, Aulani does not traditionally sell its accommodation service to Japanese tourists directly. Therefore, it's very important that the travel agent understands the latest situation in Hawaii and grasp infection control measures and any changes in service because travel agents are Aulani's main sales channel in the Japanese market.
Now let's discuss how we will be pivoting our marketing strategies during this time. Due to the current consumer landscape of the hospitality and tourism industry, Aulani must pivot its marketing strategies from targeting mainly international tourists to making an emphasis on weekend experiences for Kama'aina and active duty military service members stationed on Oahu. Print, video, and digital marketing content that is produced for this campaign will feature local families to appeal to this consumer segment. Marketing materials produced will highlight a staycation Disney experience for locals who are foregoing their traditional annual vacations due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Heavily promoting amenities such as the Aulani beach cabanas will naturally promote social distancing practices, which will benefit the overall cause. Now let's discuss the consumer segments that relate to the IMUA strategy we have presented today. There are three main consumer segments we're targeting in our campaign, which includes Kama'aina families, active duty service military member families, and Japanese tourists. When it comes to the Kama'aina families, in terms of demographics, these families include middle-aged married couples with children. This consumer segment has a higher than average income as they tend to go on family vacations annually. In terms of psychographics, they value fun experiences with their children that build long-lasting memories. When it comes to the second consumer segment of active duty service military member families, in terms of demographics, these families include middle-aged married couples who serve in the U.S. military who have children. In terms of psychographics, they're the same as Kama'aina families, where they value fun experiences with their children that build long-lasting memories. When it comes to our third consumer segment of Japanese tourists, in terms of demographics, these tourists are young to middle-aged families with children. Occasionally, there will be a young to middle-aged newly wedded couple who will have their honeymoon in Hawaii. In terms of psychographics, they value vacations and experiences outside of Japan, and they visit Hawaii for a local Hawaiian experience in tropical paradise. Something that ties all three of these consumer segments together is they all value a Disney experience as well, which relates because we're the Disney Aulani.
Our final recommendation includes incentivizing global and local tourism. Incentives must be implemented to get customers back into the Aulani. Incentives we are proposing includes a 15% hotel discount rate to the public and a 30% hotel discount rate for Kama'aina and military service members. Implementation of these incentives are important as they encourage individuals to visit the Aulani despite their concerns for the COVID-19 virus. Incentives allow for the fear of COVID-19 to be outweighed by the excitement towards the deal. In addition to that, the slightly higher Kama'aina discount rate will communicate to the market that the Aulani is pivoting to prioritize staycations for families who are missing out on their traditional annual vacations.
Our projected timeline will be split into 3 phases. Phase 1 will consist of developing our IMUA strategy, such as establishing our 3 pillars and how we'll be implementing our tactics moving forward. Once the IMUA strategy has been finalized, the company will inform staff members about IMUA and announce when the company will begin preparations in the next coming months. Phase 2 will consist of preparing our IMUA strategy, such as producing in-house safety protocol videos in both English and Japanese translations, developing a new discount rate model for kamainas and military guests, scheduling monthly webinars with Japanese tourist agencies in order to communicate updates related to COVID, and investing in resources needed in order to establish on-site rapid COVID testing. Phase 3 will consist of implementing our campaign strategies, such as beginning to conduct monthly webinars with Japanese tourist agencies, announcing our new discount rates, and posting the safety protocol videos on the Aulani website.
In order to implement the MUA strategy according to the previous timeline, Aulani will have to invest in the production of safety protocol videos, an ABOT test kit for rapid COVID results, and new campaigns to correspond to their marketing pivots. All factors considered, the safety protocol videos will cost Aulani $3,500. Production costs associated with the safety protocol videos include talent acquisition of local actors, since Aulani has in-house video production unit. As we project 2,568 rooms will be booked annually under the MUA strategy, we will order 5,000 AirBot test kits, as well as staff, totaling a cost of $137,500. Last, the company will allocate $190,000 to launching the new marketing campaigns. This number is based off the average percent of revenue allocated to marketing within the hotel industry. The total investment in MUA strategy will be $331,000 for the span of 1 year. As a result of these investments, Aulani will earn a minimum of $1,062,688 in revenue within a year. The minimum revenue is presented to be conservative, and it does not include revenue inflow from extra hotel services. It is solely based on bookings. $596,897 of this revenue will come from visitors. We determined this number by averaging the amount of tourists staying in hotels in Oahu during the months since the pandemic and scaling this realistically for Aulani. 34% of visitors at hotels are from the military, while the other 66% are international or domestic tourists. The other $465,771 will come from Hawaii residents. This number was determined by applying the conversion rate for high-performing hotels, which Aulani will be aligned with after MUA, to the resort's target market. Following these numbers, Aulani will yield a 221.5% return on their investment in MUA.
To recap our presentation today, the MUA strategy we have developed will increase Aulani's traction through our three main pillars. The first pillar of nourishing customer trust combats the decline of tourism due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The second pillar, in pivoting marketing strategies, combats the reduced capacity and amenities due to the state of Hawaii's health guidelines and their unpredictable health mandates as well. The third pillar of incentivizing global and local tourism will combat the financial strain on kamaaina and will allow tourists from around the world to confidently travel to the Aulani. Thank you for listening to our presentation today. We look forward to other recommendations you have to offer and questions and answers during these times. Mahalo.